All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, and Jonas Siegel from The Athletic.
You
What's
are
happening?
just the two people I wanted to see, because I met this fine gentleman today, and he said, I love OverDrive. I don't care much for Jonas or Hazy B's thoughts or takes. And I said, oh, yeah, what do you know about OverDrive and hockey? And he said, I'm the original Brownie. Connor Brown's my son.
Yes.
Look at this guy.
What a legend.
What a legend.
Mr.
Didn't
Brown.
have a whole lot of time for the takes of you two.
Okay.
He mentioned that. That's why as soon as I found out Jonas was on the show, I said, how appropriate. Because at 10 a.m. I met a guy that didn't care for either of your two takes, and sure enough, you're both on the show.
Wow.
Brownie, what a great guy he is.
What an awesome guy. I've met him, and he was always very nice when I've met him in the past. But
I've interviewed him. I don't believe you. I think he probably said the opposite. He probably said, I love Hayes, I love Jonas, I love Noodles.
No, Jonas.
You, I could kind of take or
Take it or
leave.
leave
Yeah,
it.
Jonas, I
Take it or leave
swear,
it.
he said,
I'm gonna
I
call
don't
him.
have a whole lot of time for Hazy B takes or the guy Jonas. And I
The
said,
guy Jonas.
He did. I tell you what, though, I am in a weird area, because when I first started chatting with him, I called him Mr. Brown. And he goes, hey, look, man, you can call me Brownie. And then I thought in my head, I'm like, is there a chance I'm older than this guy? Like, I'm in that zone now where I'm older than that guy that's the dad. You can't.
You're right.
Like, I am all about respect. You call the guy Mr., but if you're older, dude, you don't.
No, he should be flipping it and possibly calling you Mr. O'Neill.
Yeah.
Because
Can you imagine if I went with that? Like, I meet hockey dads at the World Juniors, maybe the Mem Cup, and they're like, hey, O-Dog, and I'm like, no, it's Mr. O'Neill.
Mr. O'Neill from here on out. I think now that you're 50, that's actually reasonable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, once you could be on the seniors tour, dude. You could. Where is the U.S. Open, like the U.S. Senior Open
Dude,
this
can
year?
you shut up?
I need you to qualify for that. Because if you're like a plus handicap, you can possibly get in that field. Right? There's guys, seriously, Jonas, I know guys who are scratch golfers, +1, +2, that try to get in. I do not know anyone that's actually qualified.
Dude, my buddy Murph went into all those qualifyings. He goes, O-Dog, it is so outrageous. You're on the range at some qualifier in Middle America, and Billy Andrade is on the range hitting seeds beside you.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, think about some of the guys who kind of made their way through the tour in the 90s and early 2000s who were trying to qualify for that. And I think it's possible. I think I see that as a part of your future. Let's get you on the Champions Tour.
Do you think Mr. O'Neill would make it?
I think he's got a shot if he puts his mind to it. There are guys who are like, Wall Street guys or teachers or whatever, and they find a way to get on the Champions Tour.
I know, dude, but you know what they did when they were snot-nosed kids? They lived at a golf course. Do you know where I was? I was in a hockey rink.
Yes,
Like,
I
it's
understand that. They obviously had maybe a better foundation than what you have right now.
Dude, my relationship with golf. I want to leave the course at 10:30 a.m. You only got so much time in your life, and there's an allotment for this. I got 3 beautiful kids, my wife, I got this job, and I got golf. I don't need golf to take. The guy that does the 9:30 to 11 tee time, I find bonkers. It's
Really?
your whole day gone.
Yeah,
Your whole day's gone.
I know, but you're dealing with like a lot of people that have the ability to do that. They have nothing else to do.
I guess. If you don't have a job and like
Yeah.
you just want to freewheel and hammer pints and all that other stuff,
It's
like,
the perfect spot to be in because, and I know from experience, you can sleep in a little bit, Jonas. You can get there, you hit the range, and the play is you're getting off the course, and it is appropriate to have a couple beers in the afternoon, right? Like if you tee off at 7:30 and you're done at 10:30, you can get beers in the clubhouse. I have seen that play before. It just is a little bit off-putting, like in terms of societal rules. But anything past noon, certainly past 1 o'clock, those guys are going to belly up, couple appies, couple rounds,
What do you think
and move
the
on with their day.
cutoff is like between like, probably shouldn't have a beer because
For
like
drinks?
Yeah, like if you go to the airport and you see the airport bar, it's like 9 a.m. and people have beers.
no,
You're like,
dude,
what is
5
going on?
a.m., 6 a.m. There is
Yeah.
a guy that's going out west to Vegas or something that's having an airport beer at 6 a.m. and he loves it.
Yeah, you're right. The airport it's just a completely different organism.
Yes.
Like the whole world is just.
Society does not work at the airport.
And it's understandable because you do have people that are, hey, I just flew in from Tokyo and I'm not on your time zone, so I'm in the mood to have some pints, or, you're going on vacation or whatever. You're right. Like it's totally accepted there. Like no one looks at you, no one bats an eye if you're boozing at the airport, really at any particular moment. I've seen, and I can't say I've personally experienced it, but I've played morning golf with guys that don't have a lot to do, and if there's a rain delay, they'll grab a round. Like if they're sitting in the clubhouse at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they're waiting for the rain to blow through.
But wait, what time?
They'll
are you
do
guys,
a round of Guinness.
What time are you guys teeing off? Are you teeing off like 7 a.m.?
This guy would tee off at 3:30 in the morning if the sun was up.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 4 in the morning.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, that's why a late tee time would kill this guy. He's Morty Seinfeld. Like if he was you could never win a golf tournament because if you got a 2:48
if I had
tee time,
3:30 p.m. Sunday,
you'd fade so badly.
Yeah. I'd be on the couch sleeping.
Yes, they'd be like here and the 2:48 tee time, leading the golf tournament, Mr. O'Neill, and you wouldn't. I'm not even sure you would arrive on time.
What time do you go to bed if you're getting up at 4?
It's like
7?
As soon as that Eastern game is pretty much over, like we're talking Tampa Buff when that's over, my eyes are generally closed within 15 minutes of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, we got some big ones tonight because, on the NHL side of things, Ottawa-Tampa tonight.
That's
a big game. That's
Can't
a
wait.
big game. And Allmark's playing, as you would expect, although it does feel like you kind of have to reveal that information. But Allmark is going. He just went back-to-back over the weekend. He's playing tonight. This continues a really difficult homestand for Ottawa, but they've done really well so far, and they're currently in a playoff spot. And another big game is Detroit-Columbus, where someone's got to win because Columbus has lost 6 in a row, and Detroit is completely choking. So someone's got to walk away with 2 points tonight. Phillies in Jersey. Phillies, knocking on the door. There's a lot of games tonight and a lot of meaningful games.
Hayes, we don't there's no feelings. Like we sleep well after overdrive's over. Like I mentioned, we got families, kids. Like we don't have any skin in the game. Detroit has broken my heart if they don't get in. Like we've talked about their struggles in last year and the way this season started. Can you remember the coach after game 1? Where he was like, aren't some of these guys tired of this nonsense? It's been going on for years. Then they turn the corner. I believe, and Jonas, you can dig into the numbers. I'm sure you know them. They were leading the division for the majority of the season, were they not?
Yeah.
And so you're like, finally they're going to do it. And they're absolutely pissing it away, and it breaks my heart for Stevie Y and those boys down there. Like I was like, okay, Sider's turning a corner. Raymond, Larkin, they're all going to get it done. They got their cake, and they're finally going to start doing it. It's just they're pissing it away again.
Yeah, it would be really
Hayes,
unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't think you specifically said Detroit, but you called it after the Olympics. You said one team is going to take a dump.
Yes.
And they're doing it. They climbed on top of the stall, and they hitched their armpits up there, and they're doing it right now.
Yeah, they're the team. They're officially the team. I think the Islanders possibly could classify as that, although they didn't have as much of a buffer. Like Detroit was double digits into the playoffs. They were 10, 11, 12 points into the playoffs, and they've completely melted. And this would be a third year in a row where this has happened because the last 2 years they were in a playoff spot, not to the same extent as this year, but in a playoff spot with 10 games to go, 12, 15 games to go. And it's interesting. This is the beauty of social media is you can feel like you're kind of in tune with every market, like not completely. And you're obviously not living there and you haven't been along for the ride. When Detroit a few years ago, when they were completely out of it, no one was paying attention. No one was aware of what they were doing this point of the season 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. But it does seem like there's this negative energy in Detroit based on who I've read and what I've seen in terms of, radio hosts down there. They're like, just put us out of our misery, lose, and just be over with it because they just don't have faith in the team. And others that have pointed out, because there's some Steve Yzerman discourse, right? Like, is this going to be possibly the end of the Yzerman run? Because if you can't get in year 7 or whatever it is. I think it's been 7 years.
Either
he's been
19
there.
or 20 or
Yeah, he's been there
like
6, 7, 8 years of the Iser plan. If you still aren't in a position where you're getting in, how much more runway do you get? And as many people have pointed out, when he took over, that organization had nothing. Nothing. They had no prospects. They had no picks. They had nothing. And it's kind of like a Buffalo situation. You know, there's other scenarios. San Jose in 2019, that was kind of the end of the road. That's when, by that point, Marlowe had left. Thornton was on his way out, and it's taken them 6, 7 years. So, again, obviously there's a Toronto link to this in terms of what they may or may not do. But if the big boys leave and you're going to get something for them if they make that determination, if it's a Matthews situation, if it's a Nylander situation, you're starting here with not a lot of picks, not a lot of prospects.
Dude, it's not. They have nothing cooking right now. Like I talked about it, who's ever taking over the organization, they might have some people that are exiting stage left. No prospects, no picks, like tough spot. And if you don't turn some of the picks into a Macklin Celebrini on the other side of it, you're going to be in a situation where you're waiting around for guys that aren't that good to be good, and it's a painful process.
Yeah.
Painful, dude.
Yeah, and you got to hit on more than just that first overall pick. That's a big part of it.
Oh, yeah.
But
You got to find a fourth rounder that can play D in a shutdown role that kills penalties, a goalie, all of it.
We just showed Connor Brown's dad. I mean, when Matthews arrived, Marner was still here, 4th overall pick, or Marner was here. Nylander was here, 8th overall pick. Connor Brown was a 6th-round pick, I believe it was. Hyman was a 3rd-rounder who didn't sign in Florida and said, yeah, I'll play up there, and then went out and acquired him. Kapanen was a trade piece from the Kessel deal.
Yeah.
And, like, those were other young guys who are NHL players. They're all still playing in the league.
Jonas, let me ask you this. Do you think fortunes could have been different or had a different vibe to it if Connor Brown was kept, if Nazem Kadri was kept, if Zach Hyman was kept, if Kasperi Kapanen was kept, and that kind of formation just moved forward and they didn't get into the Tavares sweepstakes and they added a stud defenseman? What?
I mean, you're just
What do you mean,
you're just like taking, like, there's like a hornet's nest and you're just like batting it.
Dude, this is sports talk radio, pal. We got to come up with different scenarios, and I'm throwing one at you.
So
That's
you're
a very
asking me,
valid
like,
one,
those
Jonas.
are a lot of what ifs. I mean, you could go back to so many different things and be like, what if they had done this? Hyman is like one of the bigger ones.
That was an absolute
But
there's no but.
There is a but.
No, there is.
There's a big but.
There's no but.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Go ahead, Jonas. Give me your but.
The big but is he wasn't the Hyman that he became in Edmonton.
Okay.
He hadn't scored.
Whose job is it to figure that out?
Oh, my God. This
Whose
guy's
job
gone
is it to
off the
determine?
charts.
Get out of here. All right.
Get him off the show.
All right.
Get serious.
So
Jonas.
that's one of them. Like, all of those are what ifs. Like, what if they hadn't signed Tavares? What if they hadn't traded Kadri? Brown was like a piece in the Phaneuf trade, was
deal.
he?
Yes.
And like they didn't take any salary back in that trade.
No, that was the Zaitsev deal. It was not Phaneuf. It was Zaitsev. Yes, he was in the Zaitsev deal because Phaneuf wasn't here when they arrived. Phaneuf was gone. Like when Matthews showed up, Phaneuf was not here.
But Brown was.
Yes, I know. Brown was the Zaitsev deal. That was Zaitsev. Well, I'm just saying.
To get rid of his contract.
Yes,
well,
it was the get rid. We have to get rid of this guy. How are we going to do
there's
this?
so many. It's like trading Patrick Marleau for a pick.
No, I know.
There's just a lot of, like, I don't know what domino you think causes all the other dominoes. There's a lot. There's like not changing the core. Like this is all stuff.
There's a lot.
We could spend 5 hours. We should do a 5-hour show.
Dude, I don't know how you haven't written a toilet book. Like just something you put on the back of the toilet and you just sit down and like that. That's a read. Dude.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
We are working on some stuff for this year alone.
You got more
it's
stuff
like,
cooking?
It's like, oh man, there's been so much stuff this year. It's like,
oh.
Yeah.
So you're doing a toilet book on 2025-26.
Sure.
But what is the final chapter in your opinion? Like you haven't written it yet. But
No,
what do you think it's going to be?
It's in the process.
Oh yeah. So you know what's going to happen with Craig Berube?
No, but
GM
see,
they're
that's
going to hire.
No, this is like is that the epilogue?
Well, I mean,
prologue would be.
You think he
before.
knows? Come on.
But no, but that's what I'm saying. How can you
know.
write the finale before
Well, because
you
the
know what's
season is
going to
going to
happen?
end on April 15th.
Hang on a sec,
Everything
Hayes.
that happened.
Okay.
You don't know what epilogue means, do you, Hayes?
Yeah, it's
Tell
the
me.
end of the book. A little excerpt at the end of the
There
book.
you go.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone.
I mean, let's
So,
say
Jonas, let me ask you this. If we could
Okay.
fill in some pages for future chapters,
yeah.
who do you think when you write the chapter of the new president and the new GM and the whole new staff, who do you think you're going to be filling into those pages?
Like, who are they going to hire?
Yes,
Is that what you're
Jonas.
asking?
Sure. You be the firm. Give
I'm
them
not
free
I'm not a
advice.
search firm. I don't know.
What do you need a search firm
know.
for, too? Like this, and to be fair to the Leafs, fair to the Leafs, they're not the only team that does it.
teams
Every
do this.
team's doing it now. What the hell is this firm going to come up with? Oh, that's an interesting name. What's his name again? Doug Armstrong. Okay, I think I've heard of him. Yeah, I'm familiar with that guy. You know, like, what are they possibly going to reveal?
I guess they're
Keith
gonna-
Kelly isn't employed to do on his own. Isn't that why you
That's
have
what
a
I
guy
thought
in that
his job was, to
Me
find the
too.
guy.
I guess the idea is he's not qualified to know who the assistant GM
How is he
is.
qualified to fire the GM in the first place?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you're qualified enough to know
That's
this
one of the
GM
things-
doesn't work, but I can't possibly
That's-
hire the next one.
Hayes, like that's why I was thinking about the Berube situation. He basically said, "I'm not qualified to fire the coach,
Right.
But I am qualified to fire the GM." Like, I
Exactly.
don't understand.
You're-
Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, and I really do think they're possibly jamming up the next hire by not removing
1,000%.
Berube.
1,000%.
Why didn't you just say we're getting rid of
We're starting fresh. This guy can't come back.
completely
Sorry.
fresh?
I don't know.
The whole thing is going to be retooled, but obviously they've chosen not.
I
to
think
do that.
some of the interesting questions are like, can you hire a first-time GM? I think the answer to me is yes. But then it's like, if you're hiring a first-time GM, like, who is the president? Because there's not a lot of people that you can look at and be like, that's the person who should be the president. They have the right experience, vision. Like, it's so
What
funny.
does the right experience to you mean?
I don't
Do
know.
they have to be a proven winner?
That's
Like,
a
do
good
you have-
question. Honestly, like, what is the right experience? Like, do you have to have been a president before? Probably not. Do you have to have been a hockey general manager? Do you, like, Brendan Shanahan had no experience.
No.
Like, he had been in the NHL Central League office. Like,
Right.
he'd been the disciplinarian. So I don't know what that person is. I don't know who that person's supposed to be, what kind of vision they're supposed to have. Like, you know, is Mike Gillis is it someone
Why
like
is
that?
Mike Gillis?
I don't know.
Out there?
Good
Could
question.
someone
I don't know.
explain where he's been for a decade?
It's
Dude,
12
this
years.
guy, it's 10 years, and
And
I
now
like
all of a
Mike.
sudden-
He seems like an old school guy who's smart, but how does it just pop up and all of a sudden he's like in this front runner, like he's going to be the guy to run the Leafs? What the hell's going on here? So
I
that's
don't
the
know.
best candidate,
But you
a
know
guy
what?
that's been out of the game for 10 years.
Well, it's-
You know what a search firm can do, and I mean, maybe they can do this in theory, is they can like vet the records of the people who are being considered and be like, this guy did this, or this person did this.
Yep, sure.
They were terrible at this. And I don't know that Keith Pelly is going to be able to do that for.
And that
Find the best hockey guy as opposed to going to the firm.
But how
You
does he
just
know?
said something, dude. You're supposed to know when you take that job and
Yeah,
make that money,
you have
man.
to.
Are
Well,
you serious?
It also, to me, there's a part of it that now they have an out. Wow, if they hire the wrong guy,
the firm told us.
the firm, man, what do you want out of me? It was the firm. The firm said this is your guy, so obviously we had to agree with the firm.
What if he just asked AI and just was like, who should we hire?
Honestly, how different would it be? Like, I get that they're going to. This is actually seriously where AI is probably going to do a lot of this. Just give me all the records, who they've hired, who they haven't, and they're just going to give you the file in like 5 minutes. No one's going through the paperwork at the firm to be like, this is where this person worked, and this is
I'll
what this
come clean.
person's done, and
I'll come clean. I asked AI.
yeah, you should.
What did they say?
About what? What did you ask them?
I said who's. I can't believe I'm even admitting this. I typed in who is going to get hired or who should be hired for the president.
And what
of
did they
Maple-
say?
And number one was Haley Wickenheiser, and I wrote back, she's a doctor. How does she have time to run the Maple Leafs too?
Well, I'm sure she'd find time. I'm sure Haley would be probably okay with giving up.
I just want to let people know, though, you can't do both. You can't be a doctor and like Doogie Howser and like run from the hospital over to the game.
I don't
and,
think.
like,
I don't even. Honestly, I don't know what her practice is. Do you know?
I don't.
I just know she's a doctor.
I know, but
I will say,
don't
because you
think
guys
she's,
mentioned
like,
it last
performing
week, she is around the
surgery.
team a lot.
Yeah,
I will, because you guys didn't know she is.
she's around the team a lot.
A lot. And on
There
the
you go.
ice with the players. Like, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah,
clarify.
I don't know what the hell. What
But
does
that's the
AI
thing,
know?
like,
What does
Jeff,
the firm know? We'll find out.
you are like, you're saying like, we're wondering like, who should it be? Imagine like Keith Pelly trying to figure out like, who should it be? Like who?
Yeah, I know, but that's literally his job, though, Jonas. Like,
Dude, that guy's, he can't be thinking like that. I just mentioned his position, the money that's involved in paying him in that position. He has got to have the mindset of, I'm going to go out to get the best guy for this organization for next year and for the next 5 to 7 years. That's got to be the mindset. And I mentioned the two words, clarity from the fan base and confidence. And they don't have it right now. No. So I would hope that he would do something for those two things to start.
Got access to, he can make calls to people. Like, that's the whole point.
But that's, again, that's where, to be fair, a search firm would help.
No, but not really, because what they've done in the past, a lot of times, the truth is people call Gary Bettman and say, help us out.
Yes.
You don't need a firm to do that. If Keith Pelly calls, like, why do you think Brendan Shanahan got hired? In a lot of ways, it was Bettman that told Lewicki, this is your guy. So it wasn't a firm.
Yeah, but like that also leads to like Brad Treliving gets hired. Did someone do a deep dive on his record in Calgary? I know I did.
Well,
did they? I don't know.
So yes, I'm sure they did.
I would hope
he was at a GM of a Canadian
team. But then how did he get hired? Like if you had looked at that's what I'm saying. Like for the future person.
But then you're giving requisites. You just said you don't know what the requisites should be. Based on that, you're telling me you think it has to be a past winner.
No, I don't think that.
So then what does it matter what Brad
But if you're going to hire that person 3 years ago, I would hope you had looked into everything that they did and be like, is this the right person for the job? And clearly they either did or didn't, but it wasn't right.
It was obviously a rushed job where Shanahan was not wanting to do it himself, wanted to give Dubas the deal but didn't.
I don't know if he wanted to. But
he admitted publicly he had offered him a contract.
At the end of this, anyway, that's the end of the season. Like that's one of the dominoes.
You're not
There's
wrong
a lot of
about
dominoes,
like the lame duck stuff, and they could have done it before that.
So much that went wrong.
Yes, and ultimately it's all irrelevant now. You know,
isn't there stuff coming out about the firm and who's leading the firm and one
that's
of his clients?
Great. Yes,
like
it's like you can't. It's just like they keep doing stuff where you're like,
I couldn't help myself when CJ sent out the tweet, and it was the picture of who's the guy that runs the firm, Jonas?
Glassberg, Neil Glassberg, I think.
Yeah, Neil Glassberg, and one of his clients is the assistant GM in Florida. I had to write underneath it and say, gee, I wonder if he has anybody in mind that might be ready for the position.
Yeah.
Like, oh my word.
Yeah, I guess his name's out there. Sonny Mehta is his name. He was a poker player.
He's got an interesting history.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like,
Jonas. Tell me about his history.
I haven't done a deep dive.
He's the assistant GM,
but he was hired like 2 weeks, maybe not even 2 weeks. Like when Bill Zito became the Panthers GM.
Yeah.
I think quickly after he took over, he hired Sonny Mehta, who had been with New Jersey, I believe. And if you look at like all the things that Florida did, where people like you are being like, how are they going to like? How can they? I shouldn't say you, but there are people like, how are they going to turn this around? If you look at like all the moves that Florida made, it's like a masterclass of like, how the hell did they find this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy? Like we look at it now and we're like, look at the team that they built. I heard you guys talking about it. It's like no one knew Sam Reinhart when they made that trade was going to be a 57 goal scorer. No one did.
You think they crunched numbers on one of the
I'm not
computers in a dark room and said, this guy's going to score 56 one
when it happens like with like dozens of players where it's like that guy wasn't that good in the previous stop. And they found him. Like Sam Bennett was barely playing for Calgary when they made that trade. And now we look at it and we're like, how did they get Sam Bennett? It's like he wasn't getting on the ice. Like he was a healthy scratch in Calgary.
So another guy that looked like his career was being flushed down the toilet was Seth Jones.
Yes, that's a great example. Yes, 100%.
And it's like this guy looked in the playoffs like he was a Norris, like a multiple Norris winner.
And Jeff, even the analytics people were like, this guy's not that good. And it's like they trade for him. It's like, actually, he is good.
Dude, why do we have to tie this? Like, why do we have to tie this to analytics? Can we not just say that this guy had potential? He was in a bad environment in Chicago, and if we bring him around the right people, like, what the hell does metrics have to do with turning things around?
It does.
Okay, then what? Why do we give all the credit to the analytics people for finding these guys?
I mean,
what the hell about them? What?
Well, but here's the thing. Quickly, let me jump on this.
Yes.
Sam Reinhart went second overall.
Yes, 100%.
Seth Jarvis went fourth overall.
Seth Sam Bennett.
Sorry, Sam Bennett went 4th overall.
Yes.
Seth Jones went 4th overall.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
There's pedigree there.
There's a pedigree.
My point being,
yes, but they were not. They were not thought to be.
I get it.
They were undervalued
but
at that point.
to an extent. And again, they're on awful teams, and it's like Jack Eichel went 2nd overall. Was Vegas some? Wow, how?
No,
that was brilliant.
That trade's complicated. And
no,
it was
but
a
my
mess.
point being is, Matthew Tkachuk 6th overall.
Okay.
Give me examples.
How about Gustav Forsling? Did you see that
waiver
coming?
wire pickup.
Yes.
Great play.
I'd played 120 odd games in
Great
Chicago.
call. There's an example, but
I can give
me
you more
other
examples. How about they sign Evan Rodriguez in free agency? Good player who became Nico Mikkola.
Sure.
Remember Nico Mikkola from St. Louis?
So was that Belzito or was that Sonny?
I don't know, but he hires Sonny Mehta. It's his front office. He gets the credit. Whatever.
Yeah, but how do you
As
know
he should.
Sonny Mehta's the
I have
guy
no idea.
going? Shut up, man. You can't give credit to someone that you don't know.
I'm sure if you called up Bill Zito right now and you asked him how influential has this person been.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love him, as he should. And again, my fear is, like, Florida's already done their Florida thing.
Yes.
And now you're like, oh, well, they're good, so we'll get – and I don't know who they're going to hire. And I'm not anti anybody right now because I don't have an opinion on anybody in particular.
I feel similar.
Like, we'll see
I don't know
what
if
they
he's the
have,
right
and we'll
person.
see
Honestly,
how they –
I'm not endorsing.
Let me
don't
finish
know,
up
but-
with this, Jonas. You know what your cronies are in love with doing? Here's
Sure.
what you guys are. Here's what you guys specialize in doing.
Okay.
The Florida situation, you guys all jump on top of your little desks and say that was my doing. All the dumpster fires around the league, you guys just you crouch down and be like, that was the ex-player, the intangible guy. He did that one, not me. I'm not touching that. You guys love taking credit for all the positives. All the dumpster fires.
What about
you and your cronies
your
are
guys?
whoever
Whoever they
my
are.
guys?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know why I have a team apparently.
Yeah, well, that's –
You and your cronies. You
If you
take
look-
credit, you just jump on your desk. That's me, point at me.
I mean,
All
there's
the
other
dumpster
examples.
fires.
It's not just Florida.
yeah.
This is sorry,
there's
Jeff.
cronies
This is
all over the
there's
place.
cronies
and
invading
hockey.
professional sports.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
all old school guys all over the place.
Buddy,
too.
you know that I'm friends with Kyle Dubas. I have been for a long time. He was an analytics guy. He had no success here in Toronto.
He didn't have no success. If you look at
They
the
made
last
the playoffs. Great. Well, what's important? You want the regular
Okay, but if you're
season
looking at the
heroes.
last 25 years, he's by far their most successful general manager. Like, I don't even know who's number 2.
Is that what you want to hang your hat on?
No, but like you're saying, he had
They
no
won
success.
one series
Okay.
win.
Yes, their playoffs were whatever. I don't need to argue.
This is crazy. This
Well,
is
I mean, if
crazy
you're going to
stuff.
go back 25 years, and you're including the early 2000s, and
No, well, I guess you're going back to
Cliff
2000.
Fletcher, Pat Burns, all those guys.
Those
like
were
the-
the
Pat Quinn in the early 2000s. Pat was
Sure.
a coach and GM.
yeah. Okay,
I'm just saying.
20 years, whatever the hell.
Yeah,
whatever.
since the lockdown.
they haven't been to the finals since '67. Forget about
Exactly.
winning
I agree.
it.
I agree. I don't know who their best GM would be.
My only
for the
point
last
about those
50
teams,
years.
Jonas, is they had the puck all the time. They were regular season heroes. Come playoff time, they got intangible to death every year. Let's
Well,
go to
and a lot
commercial
of
on the
that
other
was
side.
player.
We're going to keep this
Yeah, I
conversation
got more
going.
to say on
Well,
that part.
actually,
do
we
I.
got to get into the Blue Jays because I don't know if you paid attention, but they got
I
their ass
watched.
kicked last night.
Tough watch.
I
That
told
was
you.
the most embarrassing loss
I
I
told
can
you.
think of in a long time. Like, that was an absolute beatdown. And Barger's now in the IL. Kirk has had surgery. Ponce is going to have surgery. He's done. It's over. He's not playing. And they're a mess. Like, there's no other way to put it. They got absolutely demolished, and Yamamoto's on the mound tonight. So we'll get to that coming up. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
NASCAR action here on TSN and TSN Plus.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel. Quick update because it seems to be a daily occurrence on the Blue Jays injured list.
Oh, come on.
Well, you got Alejandro Kirk, thumb surgery. Obviously, Santander's done. Addison Barger now, he's on the IL, 10-day IL with an ankle injury. Barrios is out. Bieber's out. Francis is done for the year. Ponce is, I believe, now done for the year. ACL surgery. Savage is still out. Garcia's out. Scherzer last night, forearm issues, and he believes he'll make his next start. But I don't know. There's a lot going on here in Toronto, and they're not alone, right? Mookie Betts isn't playing. Will Smith. There's other guys banged up with L.A., but they're in one tonight with Yamamoto on the mound. And to chat about it, we're joined now by ESPN analyst and insider. Here's Tim Kurkjian. How you doing, Tim?
I'm well, fellas. How's it going?
Well, we're trying to keep our heads on straight up here. It's Jays are 4-6. They got embarrassed at the Dome last night, and there's a lot of injury news on a daily basis. I'm curious, at what point does it become less about performance because they're not playing well? They can't pitch. They're defensively really struggling. A couple errors again last night. And how much of it is performance, in your opinion? How much of it is the fact that they're dealing with so many injuries early in the season?
Yeah, I think the injuries are the number one factor. I saw them opening night this year, and then I did their game the second day of the season on the radio. So I've seen the Blue Jays, and I really liked what I saw. Granted, the A's weren't. They just dominated the A's. The pitching staff was overpowering. However, no one's going to win when 5 starting pitchers are hurt. And now you have a middle-of-the-order hitter, the most popular player on the team. He's a really good defensive catcher, and now he's hurt. So you're right. They haven't hit much. They haven't played particularly well since that first 3-game series of the season. But it is way too early to say, all right, there's something wrong with this team. There's only one thing wrong with the Blue Jays, and everybody's hurt. That's what's wrong.
So, Tim, how long before you said it's way too early? How long does this have to continue before one of your colleagues comes up to you at a ballpark and says, man, those Blue Jays are in big-time trouble? Because in this market, it's close to home, and people are feeling it. They're ticked off. All they had in their minds was building off that World Series appearance last year, and it's not happening, and people are getting frustrated.
Right, and they have a right to be frustrated. But one thing we know about baseball is it's the most unpredictable game ever. Just think back to the 2019 Washington Nationals. They were 19-31 through 50 games. They had no chance to make the playoffs. Look at the Tigers a couple of years ago. They went to Williamsport for the Sunday night game in the middle of August. They had no chance to make the playoffs, and they did. Crazy things happen all the time in baseball, and I, again, refuse to believe that there is something fundamentally wrong with the Blue Jays, because there isn't. They have a good team that hasn't played very well, and when you take away all of this starting pitching, it affects the rest of the team, it affects the bullpen, it affects the offense. So they just have to ride this out, and I'm certain that they will.
With Tim Kurkjian, ESPN, Jays Dodgers tonight, and you got Gausman Yamamoto tonight, which we saw a couple of times in the World Series. And, the bullpen has really been taxed here because Scherzer left early last night. Cody Ponce, obviously, last week left early in the game. Gausman's been great. He's been great, and he's been giving them innings. How does he possibly keep up with Yamamoto? Is it even fair to make that comparison, considering what we saw at Yamamoto in Game 2, 6, and 7 of the World Series down at the Rogers Center last year?
Yeah, Yamamoto is one of the best pitchers in the game, but so is Kevin Gausman. I repeat, I was there on opening night, and I have no idea how anybody ever gets a hit off of that guy when he's throwing 97 miles an hour with a split that nobody been hit, and he was just as good the second time out as he was the first time out. Is he going to be that good every time out? Maybe not. But, yeah, I give the Blue Jays every chance in the world for Gosling to go step for step with Yamamoto. But that little guy proved in the postseason last year, especially the World Series, just how good he is. So if this is anything but a pitching duel tonight, I will be surprised.
Tim, again, early, but has your opinion about the division changed at all with the way the Yankees have started?
Yes, the Yankees are even better than I thought. Now, I got a good look at the Yankees in spring trading, and I left thinking their starting pitching is pretty good. And once they get Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon back, Rodon end of April, Cole end of May, their pitching has a chance to be exceptional. Well, it already is exceptional. Will Warren has done a really good job so far. You know, Cam Schlittler has been ridiculously good already, like he was when he came up last year. Max Fried wasn't great the other night, but he's really good. And they've fixed their offense, too. Cody Bellinger gives them another offensive, defensive, athletic player, which they didn't have enough athletes last year, which is why Blue Jays were able to take it to them in the playoffs. Well, Bellinger goes a ways to change that. They don't have to worry who their first baseman is. Ben Rice is going to hit 30 homers. They don't have to worry about second base or third base. Remember, they were mixing and matching. I think the Yankees are better than we thought, and certainly than I thought, but I thought they'd be good. I thought they'd win as many games as last year and make the playoffs. But, boy, their pitching has been awfully good so far. They gave up 8 runs in their first 7 games this year. That ties the 93 Braves and the 2002 Giants for the fewest runs ever in the first 7 games of the season.
Tim, do you think if the Jays and Bo Bichette had an opportunity to go back in time and say, rip up your contract and forget last summer happened, it never happened, we're going to Men in Black it and erase it from your memory and let's get you back here, do you think both sides would say, hell yeah, let's do this?
I know the Blue Jays would. I think the Blue Jays would because he's such a good hitter. And right now, this is not a good offensive team. And with Kirk hurt now, and with Barger hurt, even though he had been swinging poorly before he went on the IL, and Vladdy hasn't done a lot of damage, just another reminder how he is to their lineup. When he's not driving and runs and hitting the ball out of the ballpark, they have a tendency to struggle a little bit. Yeah, they miss Bo Bichette in that lineup, and he hasn't been great so far with the Mets, but he's going to find his way there, and they have a good team, and he's going to be right in the middle of it.
Speaking of Vladdy, how much scrutiny should he be under? And as Jonas said a couple times, it is early, but he hit 23 home runs last year after this massive contract. He obviously was incredible in the run to the World Series, but it's a slow start again, and all the same kind of things are coming up from the people we have on where they're talking about his swing and hitting down on it. And to be honest, it's just not good enough. So what kind of pressure should this guy be under?
I'm sorry. It's too early for pressure on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He proved in the postseason last year what a great hitter he is, what an above-average, way above-average defensive player he is. He's a better runner than people think. Look, I'm not making excuses for anyone. This is the hardest game in the world to play. Great hitters become average hitters all the time. It's happened dozens of times already this year. Julio Rodriguez, well under 200. Cal Raleigh just hit a homer. Aaron Judge struck out 4 times on opening day. These things happen, and they happen to great players like Vladdy Jr. He's going to pull out of this. He's going to have a great year. I'm certain of it, but he's going to need some more help, especially now with Kirk out of the lineup.
With Tim Kurkjian, and you look at, I guess, his counterpart, there's many of them that could apply to this with the Dodgers, but I guess it's Shohei. I mean, Ohtani's the highest paid player. He's a freak of nature. He had a couple of hits and another home run last night. Freddie Freeman was great again last night. But you look at Ohtani, and we've had you on for years here, and we're always kind of in awe of Ohtani. And he currently has the longest active on-base streak in Major League Baseball at 41 games, and the longest active scoreless inning streak among starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, and that's 22 2/3 innings. So he'll obviously be up to the plate tonight, and he's going to pitch tomorrow. I saw another stat that MLB.com or MLB's Twitter account posted that the longest on-base streaks by a Japanese-born player in MLB history, the record holder is Ichiro with 43 games back in 2009. So he's 2 off that record. Like, at what point do we acknowledge that he's just going to keep getting greater? Like, at what point do we start to almost, laugh at his resume? Because it just seems like every other week he's accomplishing something else that we've just never even contemplated was possible for a player to be able to do.
Yeah, I've been laughing at this for several years, and I have learned my lesson with Shohei. You never, ever underestimate him. A couple of years ago, Tommy John couldn't pitch. It's almost like he said, what can I do that would really impress everyone that no one else has done? And he went 50-50, and it wasn't even close. That's how great he is. And, the numbers that you point out about on base and innings, I've seen all those numbers. I mean, this is what Babe Ruth did in the late teens, early 20s. He did stuff maybe separately because there was no DH that people hadn't done. And that's what Shohei is doing. There's never been a player like him. He's the most remarkable player I've ever seen. And there is no end in sight to how great he's going to be. I know one of the coaches on the Dodgers, when he got there 2 years ago, after 3 weeks, I said, tell me about Shohei. And he said, every movement he makes is surgical. Every swing he takes has the intent of something. There is something behind it. Every time he throws the ball, every time he runs, it is all about him being the best player he can be and the best player that anyone has ever seen. That's who he is. He is a baseball machine, and I will never, ever put anything past him. When there were hints, he's going to win the Cy Young this year. I mean, who is going to question that after what we've seen from this guy so far in his career?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody will, and I don't think anybody should. Game 2 of the series tonight. It's going to be a good one. Gausman, Yamamoto on the mound. Enjoy that, Tim. Enjoy the other games, and we'll do it again down the road. Thank you for this.
Okay, guys. See ya.
Tim Kurkjian of ESPN. I thought it was particularly tough to watch Miguel Rojas close that game out last night when he was the guy, obviously, that hit the home run off Hoffman in the 9th, and it was a mercy rule play. Like, Heineman was closing and Rojas, and it was like both managers just said, let's get the hell out of here. But when you're up 14-2 and you're throwing a position player in there because you just know they have no chance at coming back, it was really embarrassing last night. I mean, I get it. Everyone says it, and Tim's been covering the game for 40 years. It's early. They're 4-6. But that was such an anticipated big game last night, and they just got pumped.
I know. I warned you that was coming.
I know.
And I totally disagree with Tim's assessment on Vladdy. Like, if you're going to hang your hat on, okay, I was great in the playoffs, and I proved to you what kind of hitter it was in the World Series and in big moments, what if you don't get there? So you're allowed to just be average in the regular season? Like, he ain't cutting it right now. That's the bottom line. It's not good enough. And he had 23 bombs last year. Yes, his playoffs made up for it, but it's like sooner or later you're like, what are we getting here for 500 sheets? You can hope that you get to the playoffs and you get that guy, but what if you don't get there?
And
is that what he says to the media? Just like, well, I didn't get to the playoffs. That's where I shine.
Well, here's the thing, too, right? We spend every single offseason talking about how it's the most difficult division in baseball. And it hasn't been early on. They all have negative run differential except for the Yankees. The Yankees are 7-2. Everyone else is struggling. The Rays are 5-5. Boston's got 2 wins. So it's not just the Jays. Everyone's struggling right now, but every game is going to count towards the end of the season. Every game is going to matter. And, Shohei's off to a good start and Judge is off to a pretty good start. And, that's the category you're in. And, Vladdy, I think over the course of the year, if he stays healthy, and I presume he will because he's generally always healthy and ready to play, his numbers are going to be, I think the baseline is going to be 20, 23, 25 home runs and good numbers, gets on base, blah, blah, blah. But, yes, to your point, with Kirk out, with Barger out, team's reeling a little bit. The
with
offense
Bichette
is struggling.
Gone.
Bichette gone. Of course, there's going to be a more emphasis on you got to get Rock in here. And he was hitless last night, and he's got to show up. He's got to drive the bus for them. He has to. Forget the who cares about what he's getting paid. That's already done. It's over. It's just simply where you play and how important you are, and they need to get this offense going because it's a big part of the problem. They got Varsho hitting second tonight, and they're moving Lucas down. He's struggled, and Springer's just been okay. It's not a great start. In a way, they're lucky they're 4-6. And now you got Yamamoto tonight and Ohtani on the mound tomorrow. The Dodgers aren't going to slow down. They're crushing teams.
Dude, they're ready to just club
just
you, man.
Ohtani and Freeman. Betts, again, isn't even playing right now. And
you know who kind of drives me nuts, Hazy? And it kind of reminds me of, I don't know why I draw this comparison, but do you remember when the New York Rangers were like, yeah, we're going to move off some players, and they unloaded, Ryan McDonough? And the guy's still in the league now. That was 8 years ago.
Right.
And Matt Zuccarello was the same thing. Great player still for the Minnesota Wild. But the New York Rangers at that time were like, we're moving off of these guys. Teoscar Hernandez, every time I see him, I'm like, why on earth did you need to move off of that guy?
Yeah, he hit another home run last night.
No kidding. And I'm just like, that guy could be on the other side of the field.
Well, and it was for a relief arm. That's one they'd clearly want back. that was that was an identity issue.
Yes,
that
was the boys at the end of the dugout, and they were having a Latin party down there, and they didn't.
Yeah, it was a bad trade. You can't describe it any other way. And the Dodgers found him, and they gave him the money, and look what's happened ever since. He's a Dodger likely for life now.
Yeah, I think he had a pit stop in Seattle.
Yeah, well, that's where he got traded to, was Seattle, and it didn't go so well.
Yeah,
and then the Dodgers, probably their analytics were like, let's bring him in here, let's see what he's got.
Yeah,
and they just re-upped him. Why would he leave?
Yeah.
All right, Mike Johnson, confirm or deny, coming up. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Don't be shy, shy, shy. La, la, la.
Mike Johnson coming up, Hazy B. I don't know if Doogie can do quick on the fly. Eye test versus the cronies, something. I don't know. There could be something there.
Yeah, there definitely could be something. I mean, Johnny, I think
He's on
think
my side.
Yeah, but he
so-
takes offense to that a lot.
I think both of us are more central than you two think. Actually, Hayes, you understand.
I'm very central. I think I'm
doesn't.
right down
Jeff,
the middle.
You lump me in. You stereotype me.
Yeah, I think, Jonas, there's a lot of eye test in there.
Yeah.
And listen, the Leafs coming to a merciful end here. Like, that's really the only way to describe
I don't
it.
think
Like, just play and stop
I'm going to get
playing.
so sick of data driven. If I have to hear that,
Oh, my God.
it is killing me.
Yes. Like, they got to take their time and get the right person. You got to figure that out and then figure out what you're doing with the rest of the staff. But you cannot emphasize enough how big of an offseason this is.
Oh, man.
Like, massive decisions that may not even be in your hands. In other words, other players may say, we don't want to play here anymore.
Other player.
Or one player in particular. How are you going to handle that? So more on that into the next hour. Confirm or deny coming up. Best bets coming up as well. Overdrive continues up on TSN 4.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jonas Siegel. Game 2 of the Jays-Dodgers series tonight. Yamamoto on the mound again. It's the fourth time at the Rogers Center in the last 6 months. And he and Ohtani were just having so much fun last night.
Oh, yeah, goofing around, dancing around.
Oh, yeah. Just sickening behavior. And yet...
But, dude, that's party time. Like... You know, I had a lot of dinners with Ronnie Francis, and there's some pretty good times being a Pittsburgh Penguin in those good years, like in the early night. Because you're winning every night, man.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Like, when you talk about asking the coach for permission to golf on an off, they didn't have to ask anybody. MJ and the Bulls weren't asking if they could go out and... Like, when you're racking up wins like that, I can't imagine. I always played on a team where nothing was comfortable. Like, it was like every night's a grind. It's like, I don't know. These guys have a ton of fun. They're the best team in baseball, and it's not even really close. And they should have fun, man.
That's the thing, Jeff. Like, it just must be so fun knowing, like, we are better than everyone.
Yes.
You guys got nothing.
Well,
Jonas, it must really be fun to say we can go out to the bar and have a great time as a team and miss curfew, and we're still probably going to show up and kick your ass the next day.
And between the two of those guys, they have contracts worth over $1 billion. Like Ohtani's at 700, and Yamamoto's 350.
Well, and did you see Tucker chuckling with Ohtani? And it's like, he just got
$60 million Tucker.
$450.
Yeah, he's just up there having a great time, and you know he's batting second in the lineup tonight. And yeah, it's got to be incredible walking into the Rogers Center.
Dude,
right?
It was scary.
Just like
how
Yankee Stadium, same thing.
They won the World Series, and it was like they noticed a couple deficiencies.
Yes.
Like, who was the reliever with
Edwin
the glasses?
Diaz. They got the best reliever.
No, I know they got him, but there was one guy for the Dodgers that struggled a bit. He gave up some homers against the
Are you talking
Jays.
Vesia?
No, Vesia was the one who I think went through the tragedy. Or was it not? Whatever one it was, they were like, we need an upgrade there. And they got it. And it's scary, man.
Here's the thing, though. Like, they didn't actually need anything. And this is another thing. It wasn't like someone said, hey, I've got this brilliant idea. I don't know if you heard of this guy. Kyle Tucker, maybe we could get.
But need is the wrong word.
But that's the whole thing. It's just an excess of riches is what it was. And they're willing to spend it. The ownership is willing to move the needle unlike any other ownership. No one had ever given anyone $700 million before they gave it to Ohtani. No one had ever paid anyone $60 million per year until they gave it to Kyle Tucker. And Diaz was out there, and a lot of people were thinking, injuries and closers, how much do you pay relievers? They're like, well, just what's the price we're going to pay you? And, yes, their bullpen was, quote-unquote, a deficiency last year. They still won the World Series. So, again, that wasn't some, crack research team that came up with some brilliant plan. They went and got the best closer and the best bat, and they paid them to add to everything else that they already have. And as a result, they're, 8-2 on the season and dominating teams. So the Dodgers are a beast. Yamamoto tonight, Ohtani on the mound tomorrow. The Jays need a start out of Gausman. Their bullpen is completely taxed. They need him to go 6 or 7 innings tonight. It's mandatory. It has to happen. We talked to Keegan about it yesterday. They just need a Gausman into Varland, into Rogers, into Hoffman, and leave with a win. That would be ideal tonight. I'll believe it when I see it. So we got Dodgers and the Jays tonight. Confirmed coming up later in the hour. I'm going to do a little variation of confirm and deny. We're going to put a little different spin on it, right? Because it is Masters week, and we haven't talked really a lot of golf the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow build. I don't know if it's the lack of Tiger and Phil, but it's like our excitement about live at. I haven't had it yet. Where I'm like,
I'm
I got
you.
it.
It's a different.
It's got to.
I think
slow
it's
build.
partially the Dodgers were in town. So from this standpoint, it was like that was what I was waiting for. I was waiting for this series. We've been talking about this series for months. So I was waiting for that. I do think Tiger and Phil not being there and the fact that the McIlroy conversation doesn't hang over this tournament anymore. Right? Like
and the Tiger
he's won it.
story.
And the Tiger story was not about golf. It was about his personal life and everything. And
You're
what went
excused.
down
I think
last
it was
week.
okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot happening last week.
Yeah. But this is my favorite week of the year for golf. I mean, I cannot wait for it, but just been distracted.
Did he
A little bit
win?
distracted.
He won 6 years ago. Is that right?
2019, 7 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 2019, 7 years ago.
You see the video? They telling the cops to get the sticks out of the truck.
Yeah, the videos and the memes, they're just not stopping.
And I love the cop. He's like, let me see your putter. Like,
Scotty Cameron, man. He's won like 14 or 15 majors with that. 14, I think
Does
it
this
was.
stuff make you sad? Like,
Well,
see it?
yeah, it sucks. I mean, it's all like, yeah, but he's a 50-year-old man. Like, it's on, don't put yourself in a stupid position. Yeah. You know, he's obviously dealing with a lot, but he's lucky he's alive. He's lucky he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of it. All right, so confirm later in the hour. Best Bet's coming up. Here's Mike Johnson joining us on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's up, Johnny?
What's going on, boys? And I hear you completely because I'm not like quite the avid golf viewer you guys are, but I can settle in for some serious live from like hours and hours of it leading up. Hours. I just like it's like the news just 24 just rolling in the background. It repeats every 4 hours. I don't care. I watch it again, and it just hasn't. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. There's no big storyline. The live storyline's not quite there. You sort of expect Scheffler to do it, but he's not really rolling just yet. Yeah, you're sort of waiting for a headline grabber to grab a headline.
Johnny, me and Jonas have been arguing all day about
Surprise,
stuff.
surprise.
And I just want to know, between Hazy B and Jonas and myself,
I know where
who do
you're
you,
gonna ask.
as far as thoughts and views and principles and philosophies, who do you align yourself with the most? What's so funny about it? Is it Hazy B? Is it Jonas? Or is it me?
Careful how you answer.
The reason why I'm on the voice of reason of this group is because I'm a bit of everybody.
Yes.
I'm not entirely, maybe I'm not all Jonas, though Jonas does a lot of stuff, and Jonas and I talk down at the rink, and we exchange ideas, and, you know, I appreciate numbers-based evaluations. I appreciate the nature of the intangibles that you like to highlight and the element of, like, guts and stones that you like to talk about. And Hazy, you know, you are the voice of the people. And so
let me rephrase it, Johnny.
Answer.
Let me
Very
rephrase it,
political.
Johnny, so I get more of like some stuff to it. Give me the OverDrive pie chart of these three gentlemen. Divvy it up three ways: Hazy B, Jonas, myself. Go ahead.
Okay, here I'm going to go with this way, all right? So Jeff O'Neill, president of hockey operations. Jonas Siegel, general manager. Brian Hayes, commercial CEO.
Okay, I'll take that. That means I'm the highest paid, and I get to fire these guys whenever I want.
Well, no, I'm the president. I'm the president of MLS and East.
Oh, so you're at the height of it all. Okay, so I'm your crony, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm basically useless.
No, but you understand how to engage the people to want to support this team. That's a gift. No matter what's going on right now, that's a gift.
I'll say this: there's a Masters analogy here. And one last thing on that. Another part of it, I think, is this winter has been so defeating.
Dude, it's -5.
Dude, I woke up
Today,
this morning. It was snowing.
worst.
Like there was it's
Flurries.
disgusting how awful it is. It's like I'm not ready for golf in Augusta because it looks so beautiful. It's like a troll job. But this Leaf end of season death march over the last 3 weeks, I don't remember the last time we had one like this, where it's just every game is a chore. There's nothing interesting. No one's chasing records. They haven't called up anyone that's an intriguing storyline. There's just nothing. Like, it's tough, man.
Do you remember at the end of, you guys might remember this, at the end of the 14-15 season, Yeah, Horacek.
Yeah.
Had taken over for Randy Carlisle, and to get the players to like care about the games. Do you remember this?
Yes, but here, before you finish, that was the McDavid draft. I was all in on every shift.
So you cared that they were going to lose.
And go. Now it's like, well, if they lose, they still may not win, and then they hand Boston a pick. Like it's not the same. And Gavin McKenna, with all due respect, that was the McDavid draft. That was like I'm watching because I want to know what's going to happen here. I want to see them lose. I guess what I'm getting to, Johnny, is there's like a level of apathy about the actual shift over shift over shift that feels somewhat foreign, and that's saying something because they had a decade of futility before these guys ever even arrived.
Yeah, but it's also like the precipitous fall. Like they won the division last year.
Yeah.
They were considered, rightly or wrongly, a Stanley Cup contender. They had run off 10 straight years in the playoffs. Matthews was a year removed from 69 goals. Like they were so good, and yes, the expectation would be that they're not quite as good this year. But no one saw this coming, right? No one saw them being one of the worst teams in the league. Like and really in the last 30 games, even worse than their spot in the standings. Like they've been really bad. I think Vancouver and them are the worst two teams in the league.
Yeah.
And so it's been a harsh fall from a pretty high perch, and people are having a hard time. Like, yeah, I'm at the games. It's like it's more interesting to talk about the other teams than what's going on in the Toronto Maple Leafs, and for all the reasons you just said. Because there's, Ethan Cowan, I guess, is the singular. We're watching him develop and what he might become, and he actually is taking some nice strides, and I guess that's exciting. But everybody else, we sort of know what they are when they're good. We sort of see what they are when they're not so good, and any changes that are coming are not coming for 2 months. So what are we doing here the last 6 weeks of the season? We're just we're going through the motions. And then, they're playing, they're trying. I'm saying, like, as far as if it matters, it really doesn't.
Well, we had this conversation prior to coming on the air yesterday, and I think it was Joe from the Bridge maybe that brought it up. Could be Doogie. And it's a very interesting question that I am curious to get an answer on. When do we hear from Austin Matthews next?
Yeah.
When does he speak?
Great question.
I have to think he talks at locker cleanout.
Year end. Yeah.
Will he?
I just think.
You don't think he'll use the injury as
I can't see it. It would just be a needless PR disaster.
What if he's rehabbing in Arizona? Like, what's the use for him to come, be back here?
I think as the captain, there is a responsibility, given this season and given all that's gone on and given the firing of the general manager, he has to make an appearance. Like, I don't really care where he is in the world. Yeah. Part of his gig is he's got to fly back here and stand there for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, talk about his injury, talk about his plans. I understand not answering, definitively he wants to stay, he wants to go. That's not, he'll be asked. Jonas will ask him, but he won't answer.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree.
You think he's not going to show up?
No, I think he has an obligation to give honest answers.
But what if he doesn't know? Like,
how does he not know?
So I'm going to.
This is what he's going to say, Jonas. There's going to be honesty to this.
I want to win.
Yes.
And if we're going to win here, I want to be here.
Okay.
I'm at a point in my career, in my life, I want to win, and that's probably true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the question's going to be asked.
By anybody.
The question's going to be asked, what do you want to do in the future? And he's going to say, that's not for me to decide. I love being a Leaf, and I just want to get my knee better. And it won't be – it's not like he's going to say, I'm kind of leaning towards telling the Leafs that I don't want to be here next year. That is not coming out in 10 days.
But to be fair to him, how could he know – let's say like he wants to know who the next person in charge is going to be. They're not going to hire that person for 7 weeks.
Jonas, athletes. Don't you think he's already got his mind made up on what he thinks his future is going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Regardless of who is going to be taking charge. Maybe he's just looking at the roster.
I don't know.
You don't think so, Johnny? No?
No, because if they say, okay, we're stripping it down, everything but Austin. Mm-hmm. Let's say they said that. He'd be like, I don't think so. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go through a 7-year rebuild or a 5-year rebuild. He's 30 years old, whatever he is, 29.
Yeah.
Or if they say, okay, we're going to tinker, we're going to reload, we're not trading Willie, we're going to make some good moves on the back end, our goalies will be better, we're going to get a coach that actually, caters to the talent that we have, including yours, Austin, then he probably says, yeah, I will stick it out for the next year and a half and see how we're doing and see where we're at. Because from what I understand and what I know of Austin is he likes Toronto. He likes playing here. He likes living. He's not run out of Toronto because he doesn't like it because the heat's too much because of the media. none of that stuff bothers him. I mean, he probably doesn't love it at times, and he's probably miserable looking at times, whatever. But he likes living here. He wants to be a Leaf winning player. But if he doesn't know if he's going to win, and I don't know, maybe they tell him behind the scenes what they're not telling us, but we probably determines some of that direction.
Where does the truth come into play here? Like if he sits down with the prospective president or a general manager, and the actual assessment, the proper assessment of this team is, I don't think we can get enough new players in for us to compete. Are you just supposed to lie to Austin Matthews and BS him and BS the fan base and make ridiculous plays and give up more assets that you don't have to try to fool yourself, like the Phil and Dion eras where you were just picking up that guy and picking up this guy, trying to tell everyone you're great and you actually stink? What good does that do for anybody?
Very fair point. 100% no. But what will happen is the team, the results will tell the true story. If you want the honesty, ball don't lie, puck don't lie. If they're no good next year, then he will be like, okay, I'm not signing an extension next summer.
Yes.
Right? Like the team will dictate with their success or lack thereof what he decides to do, regardless of what people say to him. Now, it would probably not be in anyone's benefit to sort of be disingenuous or be overly optimistic or try to sell him on something that's not feasible or not going to happen, because, he has 2 years to see what is actually occurring on the ice. And when he sees it going one way or the other, that, I think, will largely determine whether he wants to sign the extension or not.
Well, so, Mike, you mentioned one of the elements that I think is kind of got lost in that press conference, and that's Craig Berube. Does it make any sense to you the way that they're choosing to handle this? Because like Hayes pointed out before, you're qualified to fire the GM, but the coach, apparently we can't. And then they're not going to make that choice until June. I don't really understand this. Does it make sense the way that they've chosen to handle this, where Keith Pelley has just said the president or the GM is going to choose what happens with Craig Berube?
Yeah. I mean, is there a world, Jonas, where they hire a president and he needs a lame duck GM for a year or two?
Yes.
And then they don't want to have extra guys on the books.
Yep.
Craig Berube makes $4 or $5 million. I have no idea. Whatever he makes. And he's like, all right, we're going to not be great next year. I don't want to waste a bullet in the chamber by firing a coach that we're going to have to fire in a year or two anyway. So we'll work with him and we'll adjust the way that we play and our roster. If it goes down that road, is there I think in a perfect world, you absolutely hire a president, and then that president hires the GM, and the GM hires the coach. That's the natural order of the organizational chart. But I do think maybe there is some of that, just to see if he could be useful to the organization, even if he might not be the solution long term.
I just don't know how that jives with the conversation we just had about Matthews, where the argument is we're going to turn this around, but we're keeping Craig because it's a bullet for the net. That it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
You can't do it.
That's where I don't see a scenario where Matthews is back and Berube is back, and that doesn't mean Matthews is anti-Craig Berube or whatever. No. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. But when Patrick was getting fired with 4 games left, and Bruce Cassidy with 8. And the Leafs thought they were a competitive cup contending team this year, and they're one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the league. It's impossible to make the case for Berube to survive that.
Yes.
It's just very, very objectively difficult to do it.
Why do
it? And guys, if we're being no matter what way they go next year, and, I think my inclination is they probably will go some version of the retool. It feels like, not because Craig Berube is a bad guy or a bad coach, the guys don't like him, but maybe just stylistically, he's not the guy for this group and where they're going to go. And he's not the guy for the best players on this team and what they need to be, maybe their very best. And people may hate that. Be like, no, these overpaid athletes, they just got to do what their coach tells them to. And they largely do attempt to do what the coach tells them to, especially Austin.
Yes.
He's I guarantee if it was Nathan McKinnon getting used the way Austin Matthews was being used this year, it would have been a story. And a loud one. But Austin doesn't make it one. He just takes it and does it. But I do think, if you're going to go the retool route, to your point, Hayes, you probably got to change the coach, because Craig hasn't found the right system, combinations, all of it to maximize his best players. And for them to be any good next year, like they have to have an elite level Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Matthew Nye, plus whoever else they bring in.
Johnny, what do you make of these late season axings? I love Kiefer's comment today where he's like, they told me that they're going to assess me at the end of the season. I was like, oh, my God, dude. Like, Torts, Peter DeBoer, Patrick Waugh, Fitzy, it's like 4 games left in the season and people are getting canned. It's crazy.
Even Trey Living and Jim Hiller in L.A., like these are all teams that were in the playoffs, which you think would be enough to get you to the end of the year. I think it says a couple different things. Like, each situation is unique, but Vegas is like, we want to win now, and we need a new coach to do it because our players hate our coach. I think that is basically what was happening in Vegas. Like, they just didn't like him. They didn't like playing for him, and it was ugly, and so they said, we need somebody else. In the Island, I think it was not even so much about this year. It's more like, if we wait, and let's say the Islanders make the playoffs, and then go through 2 weeks of playoffs, well, you're going to go through a whole round of coaches getting fired, whether it's Sheldon, whether it's Greg Berube, whether it's whoever, and then the guy you want, presumably Pete DeBoer, will probably get hired in the next 4 weeks if he wanted to. So I think it was more, in the Island's case, getting our guy for the future, and he also happens to be available right now. Not that he's going to work miracles in the next 4 games only. But it speaks to how cutthroat the business has become and how big the business has become, because I don't think teams previously would have wanted to eat remaining years as haphazardly as they seem to now. Like they're just okay with it. Okay, Patrick Waugh makes $8 million the next 2 years. Well, we're going to just live with it. Trey Living got 1 more year at $5 million. We're going to live with it. Whatever Bruce Cassidy had, we're going to live with it because they want to be competitive now. I think that's maybe the one common thread through them all.
Yeah, and there's an expectation that if it's not working, I guess you got to change, like externally. Maybe it's almost become something that's baked in every fan base, the media that covers, because it's so common. Like outside of like the Coopers and the Bednars, everyone else is turned over within 3 or 4 years, basically. Like nobody
and they know
survived.
it going in, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like understood. There's like this clock. It doesn't matter if you're a really good team, a bad team, something in between. You just hit a point where I think the market starts to expect it. The ownership, I guess, is cool with it. And this turnover, this particular cycle, though, is wild. Like 2 coaches fired in the final 2 weeks of the year.
I think this is
crazy.
In response to the NBA. Remember last year the Nuggets fired their coach with like games left in the season?
Mike Malone, but that didn't work out.
No,
in
but
terms of them
Memphis
going on a
did
run.
the same thing last year, and it was like, oh man,
that's
crazy.
I
we've seen this in the
I don't
NHL. I think Lou Lamoriello did this once.
Yeah, but it was an outlier, and it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, that's Lou. Lou being Lou, he's wild. That's not necessarily the reputation of, these other GMs. But anyway, we got some big ones tonight. Like, how about last night in the West where LA wins, Jets win, Sharks win, I believe, and the Preds got a point in the shootout loss. Like, how do you see this is going to be a question daily for the next 10 days or so? Like, which teams make it in the East, which make it in the West?
In the West, what's surprising to me is I think the best team of the bunch is probably the team that's not going to make it, Winnipeg. Like, they just waited too long to sort of get it going in the right way. But I think Winnipeg's better than San Jose, Nashville, LA. But LA never loses, guys. They've gone to overtime like 33 times this year. Like, half their games go to overtime, most in history. So will they find a way just sort of scrape across the finish line? I think them or Nashville, because, they are the 2 closest teams, they probably get there. But I don't think either one has much of a chance at all against Colorado. That's going to be a very tough series. But, yeah, Winnipeg might come up just a hair short. Now, if they win every game, they have 5 left and get to 90. They do have the tiebreaker over everyone except for St. Louis in regulation wins. So I think if they ran the table, I think they probably make it.
Yeah, I think so.
I just don't think they run the table. And as far as the East goes, Ottawa is a good enough team. If Olmark can just sort of play for the next 5 games decently, they'll get in. And I think Philly's going to hang in there. And the Islanders will creep out, unfortunately. Detroit, though, Hazy, will be the real real kicker. That Patrick Kane penalty late in that game.
That was
a bad
so
one.
stupid,
Like,
man. I don't
so
know what he was
stupid.
doing. Like,
I had no idea. And it was a penalty. Like, you couldn't argue that it wasn't.
Yep.
But Detroit, I think I read it, like on January 26th, not that long ago, they were 4th in the league.
Wow.
4th.
Wow.
And since that time, they're the 3rd worst team. Like, they've had another epic collapse in the last third of the season. It's hard. That one will, and Steve Yzerman will be at wit's end trying to figure out what to do with this group now.
Yep. Gone through coaches. They've tried everything there for the most part. And it just, their core is their core. Like that. They're not, what else are they going to do? They tried to get Quinn Hughes. Maybe that would have been the difference. Maybe that's the lesson. You should have paid the price, whatever it was. And
but you don't know if they weren't willing to pay the price. Like
you're right. I don't know that definitively, but it does seem like they were in on them, and Minnesota paid. I guess you could have asked more or added more to the pot. Who knows? I mean, hindsight being 2020. But anyway, you're right. And they got Columbus tonight. Someone's got to win. Columbus has now lost 6 in a row, and they're not even a part of the discussion anymore. This time last week, they were in the playoffs. And the cool story.
They've stopped scoring, right?
Yeah.
The magic beans have run out.
Yep. Sure seems.
They just
sure
can't,
seems
they
that
can't
way.
score anymore. Yeah.
All right, Johnny. We'll do it again later in the week. Thank you for this.
All right, fellas. My president, my chief marketing, and my GM. You guys are all dismissed for the day from our meeting.
Great.
Johnny, just
Thank
quickly,
you, Johnny.
buddy. Just quickly, Johnny.
Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Johnny,
Go ahead.
I think you misunderstood the question I asked you. What I wanted you to do is the pie chart of this panel, who you're aligned with the most. Are you like 80, 10, 10? Are you 70 Hayes, kind of 20 O-Dog, 10 Jonas?
Yeah.
That's the pie chart I was looking
We're
for.
going to say 40 Jonas, 30 30 Hayes.
Okay. There you go, Jonas.
All right.
You're coming out on top. Look at you two.
President and GM.
That's exactly right. Demand both titles. I think he just gave them to you. You got a lot of leverage after that pie chart. Thank you, Johnny.
All right. I used AI to put that together.
I love it. Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Red Tag Days are here. Check out the Toyota Tacoma and Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, both available as hybrids. Visit Maple Toyota right near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. Yeah, very diplomatic answer.
Can I ask you guys something?
Sure.
Yes.
So I did some research into my awards voting. I got a whole spreadsheet. I did some charts. I'm having a really hard time with the MVP.
Okay.
It is.
Do you want to come back
Can we
and
talk
get into
about
it a little bit?
I
Yes.
need help.
Okay, we got confirm or deny. Confirm that O and I will help you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll help. We'll get into this. Best bets later in the hour. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Hazy, talking about golf and the Masters, I don't know if you've ever had this happen. Like, the worst thing I ever did was get involved. I hooked up with this Pat Maroon in Tampa, and him and his buddy took on me and my best friend, and they beat us in this golf match. Pat Maroon's awful. He made this birdie on 17. They won the match, and him and his buddy are texting me and my best friend about beating us, and it's gone on for a month now.
Yeah.
It is, dude.
So good. You have to. You got to hold on to that kind of stuff.
No.
Well, I have no problem with that. And especially considering what they're really doing is trolling that they're in Tampa and playing.
Dude,
and
a week after we played, he sent a picture. It was freezing here. The sun set, and like he was just about to tee it again. And I was like, why do I live here? Why?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was watching live from last night for a couple of different reasons. Remember, I told you when we found out Tiger wasn't going to be there, but I said, first show, first week, Tiger's coming up. And I started the clock last night, 12 minutes in. 12 minutes in, they started talking about Tiger compared to McIlroy. And it was like, when you look at McIlroy and what he did last year and his shot out of the trees on 7 reminded me of Tiger at the U.S. It's like, what? And I get it. I understand it. But that was, remember, I don't even remember the context of the conversation we were having a couple weeks ago. But it really doesn't matter if Tiger's time is done. The comparison just continues to come up, especially on the Golf Channel. Like, Brandon Chambly cannot bring up Tiger enough. 12 minutes into live from at the Masters, Tiger in 2000 comparisons were coming up, and they were showing highlights of Tiger hitting shots at the 03 U.S. Open. It was crazy, but still great content and, like, relatable. But there was your answer, 12 minutes in. But
I know, but if I was the producer, I'd be like, if you're going to get into Tiger's swing in 2000, you better bring up this nonsense that's going on right now.
But it's not, again, like we talked, you want to move off that. That's off the golf course stuff. Like, as a fan, I don't want to talk about Tiger, the 50-year-old.
I get it.
I want to talk about
sticky
golf.
Fred Ridley might have said, don't even think about bringing this crap up.
Just let's worry about the tournament and playing. But Rich Lerner, the point I was making, the real point, was Rich Lerner started the whole thing about how awful the winter has been throughout the Northeast and the Midwest and obviously in Canada. And he's like, hopefully your weather, wherever you reside, is as great as it is in Augusta because it's just perfect weather, apparently. Like, it's 25 and sunny, and it's going to be perfect the whole week. And then this morning it was minus 15 and snowing, and it's just sickening.
Dude, like Vaughan area, I've told you before, Vaughan is a snow belt. Yes. There was a blizzard there or something.
There's a blizzard where I live. I woke up this morning. I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, it's gross, and it's beautiful everywhere else. Anyway, we're dragging people down here. Jonas, are you being dragged down with us?
Hang on, I just have to mention this. You know that Windsor is a hot pocket.
Yes.
I think in the next 10 days, BP in Windsor, around at Essex Golf and Country Club. And
maybe a Spitfires game. Are they still playing? I don't even know if they still are or not.
If they're not, we'll find something to do in Windsor. But Boston Pizza in Windsor, have us down. We want to get out to Essex to kick off the golf season.
Yeah, we love the Sun Belt down there. It is beautiful. I'll bet you it's like 12 degrees.
Pocket.
Yeah, it's a hot
it's probably
pocket.
24 there today.
Probably is. It's probably the same weather as Augusta. It very well could be. All right, you guys ready for some confirm or deny?
Yes.
Let's do it.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Boston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for confirm or deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, confirm and deny brought to you by Boston Pizza, possibly down in Windsor, Jonas. Boston Pizza's everywhere. It's Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza before or after your upcoming round. Right? Hit Boston Pizza. You can't beat it. All right, so I thought I'd put a little Rory back-to-back spin on this because I don't see him going back-to-back. I think it's only happened 3 times in Masters history. Tiger Woods has done it. Nick Faldo's done it. Jack Nicklaus has done it. Very, very rare to ever happen. He's been there for like a week. He seems very relaxed. He's got the dinner tonight. I just don't see him being in the headspace. We haven't seen him in a few weeks. Last time we saw him, he had a back problem. So
he doesn't have that, like, I gotta, like, tiger, like, I'm dying. Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
I think he won it last year, and he's just like, I don't care if I make the cut ever again.
Gave everyone the finger and said, don't ever bother me again.
Yeah, exactly.
And he mailed in the rest of the season. He did win some big events.
He was awful last year. Awful. Like, his showing at the Canadian Open was one of the worst showings ever for an elite athlete.
Yeah, but, dude, the guy still won some big hardware, man. I think he won the race to Dubai for crying out loud.
Wow, that doesn't even count. I mean, that's not PGA Tour stuff, right? Like, try to win the Canadian Open. Race to Dubai. Come on, dude. What are we talking about here?
The race to Dubai is a massive.
Dubai. Yeah, I understand that, but it starts well before you even get to the Masters, right? Like, because he won the Players before the Masters. He won the Masters. Yes, he was still competitive at times. But confirm or deny, Rory goes back-to-back or addition. Okay, you ready for this? Confirm or deny, it's more likely Rory McIlroy goes back-to-back and wins the Masters this year than it is a Canadian team makes the Cup final. Confirm or deny?
I'm going to confirm that. I have no confidence in any team, and there's some teams that I like. I think the Montreal Canadiens can do some damage if they get goaltending.
Yeah.
I think McJesus and the Oilers, if they can turn back the clock and be that team again, God knows about their goaltending.
Ottawa, the same thing. If they sneak in, they're a really good team. Sanderson's
that team
back.
in Ottawa, and I've heard a lot of positive things. There's been some negative storylines. But those guys want to get this done, man, and they're working their balls off to do it. And if they get in, watch out. But I don't even.
You're going McIlroy, going back to back. Okay.
I am.
You're picking McIlroy?
Yeah, it's more likely he's confirming that.
I am denying it. I have seen. It's tricky this year because the Oilers are not as good as they were. The roster is not as good. They are not as good.
Mm-hmm.
The goaltending is still the goaltending.
Very questionable.
They have the two best postseason players of the last. Maybe, like, I don't know how high you want to rank them, but I think they're like 2-3 in points per game in the playoffs.
All time.
All time.
Yes, it's phenomenal.
So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, we don't know about Draisaitl's health, what he's going to come back and look like, but they have McDavid, and so I will take McDavid over.
See, I have more faith the Habs are going to make it there because, I think they're a really good team. I know they're young and they don't have a ton of experience, and we'll see how it works in the playoffs. Like, they are built and they play a regular season game. And what I mean by that is,
I think people here know what you mean by that.
Exactly. I think there's a lot of similarities. Like, Marty St. Louis allows them to play very free. They score a ton of goals.
The East isn't like.
But the East
isn't
to
amazing,
me, if they play Buffalo in the first round, they can beat Buffalo in the first round. They can absolutely beat Buffalo. And then you're probably looking at Tampa, maybe Carolina, both really good teams, but I think beatable teams. But I'm gonna deny it as well. I'm gonna take those tickets. I think Ottawa's got a chance at some miracle run here. Allmark scares me, and they're not the Kings of 2011 or 2012, whatever that team was that got in with Darryl Sutter and went on that run. But they're a really good team, and they play like really, really well. They don't give up anything. I think you give me 3 tickets. I think Rory going back to back is more of a far fetch than a Canadian team in a Cup final. Confirm or deny, it's more likely Rory McIlroy goes back to back at the Masters than it is the Maple Leafs make the playoffs next year.
Rory.
Get out of here. Really?
Jonas, what optimism after watching this team play and the roster that they currently have do you think will make the playoffs next year?
I mean, you know
how many holes there are to fill in that roster?
You can improve the roster, number one. Number two, you can improve.
You gotta explain, though. You can't just say, oh, you can improve. That's another thing that analytics people do.
How do you know what trades
How do I know what's available? I don't know what every team is available.
Okay.
Darren Radish, would that be enough? Would you throw a bucket of cash at him, or would that scare you?
I got to think more about that. Like, Alex Tuck's another one. Like, do I want to pay him? Like, he's going to be 30.
And why isn't Buffalo paying him?
Yeah, like that. But anyway, the point is, I think the roster can be better. I think the coaching can be better. And look like where they are. Like, they're going to finish with 80-ish points. I don't know how many points out of a playoff spot they're going to finish, but is it 12, 15, something like that? You do those two things, the coaching, I think, can make a big difference on a lot of different things.
Hopefully the coaching is better next year. Maybe when they lose and get pumped and they don't try, they can just turn the music back on in the practice rink, and that will help motivate
It's a combination of both, though. It's not that simple.
It's not
you know
just
it.
so
Like,
simple.
Berube has not done a good job this year. You can't just let him off the hook. They get caved in every single night. They have no life in their game.
Yes.
None. I mean, if you don't hold the coach responsible for that,
Why
what
is
are
there a
you
coach?
ever going to hold them responsible for?
Yes.
I'm not pro player. I'm anti everything. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the way anything's happened. I don't like the way anyone's conducted themselves or conducted their business. But we were having these arguments 4 months ago. Like, Craig Berube has not done a good job this year. Period. End of story. Mm-hmm. And neither of the players, management was a disaster. It was a trifecta.
Yes.
They all bear responsibility for being here. The GM's gone. We'll see about the coach. I can't imagine he survives, but anything's possible. And the players have got to be turned over. But to O's point, and I think this is what you're making, if Matthews returns and Willie returns, they better be a lot better. They better be a lot better. Would you agree with that assessment?
I would agree with that. But
like, they weren't good enough.
I also think
end of story on that front, too.
I agree with that. You also have to, like, I don't want to just keep bringing it back to coaching, because you're right. Like, it's a lot of things. But part of what happened is, like, they're spending more time in their own zone. So that means they're not as in the offensive zone as much. Like, what kind of impact would a coach make on Morgan Riley? I don't know.
That's a very interesting
But I think that's, like,
though.
part of this. Like, he had these 2 pretty poor seasons under Craig Berube. What kind of impact is that? Like, there's just, it's all connected. Like,
I think if you ask Morgan Riley himself, Jonas, I think
he would own it for sure. He would,
and he would say, "I do not need a coach to come and sweep in here and save my career and save my tenure in Toronto."
Like, I don't. It kind of doesn't matter what he says, because it's factual. The way that they play, they're spending so much time in their own zone. Not ideal for him, right? Not ideal to have. Like Mike mentioned it, like. The way that they use Matthews, like, he's spending a ton of time in his own zone. Like, that's not ideal. He's playing really difficult. Like, all this stuff factors in.
Well, the Riley one is a fascinating one, because it does feel like the dam is broken, and it's like he's just got to go. He's got to get a new lease on life somewhere else. They got to move off him. He's been here forever. The fan base is turning on him. But if the new management comes in and goes, that's a guy I think we can help get us out of this.
Revitalize,
revitalize, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, his contract is $7.5 million a year. It's
and he
not
has a
crazy
full no movement clause.
Yes, and that would be a part of it. That if you're trading him, you're basically just moving off.
If he doesn't want to be traded,
no, I know,
not
I
trading him
understand
at
that.
all,
But what
right?
I'm saying is, if he agrees to go, he's controlling it,
right?
And it's not like you're just going to get the best price,
right?
He's going to have a serious say in what's going to happen. All right, confirm or deny. Rory McIlroy, it's more likely Rory McIlroy goes back-to-back and wins the Masters this year than it is Connor McDavid wins the Hart this year.
Connor McDavid wins the Hart. I don't know. The guy, he's
leading the league in points, tied with Kucherov.
Yeah, and once again, for some reason, we ignore it. I talked about it yesterday. We go to the greatness and we just say, he's supposed to do that. Isn't it something? We talk about how amazing Kucherov has been, how amazing McKinnon has been. And this guy's got more points than both of them. But we just say, he's supposed to do that. We completely ignore it. And I think it's crazy stuff.
He set the bar so high. I mean,
he did. And we just bypass it and we look for other storylines, either right beneath him or somewhere else in the league. Crazy stuff, man.
100% agree, and I mentioned my award stuff.
Yes, okay, that is a platform for you. Go ahead.
What Jeff said is exactly where I landed. And if you look, like, I think there's 3 guys. I put Celebrity, he's hard 4th. He's in a different
tier. Be careful, because this guy will put you on a one-way ticket.
I don't care what he says.
It's your vote. It's
my
your
vote.
opinion. Yes, I got you.
He's hard 4th. Like, and I don't know who to put 5th.
Vehemently
honestly,
disagree, but go ahead.
But anyway, so it's between McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov.
And I think that's most likely what's going to end up happening.
And ultimately, like, you can make a case for the other 2, obviously. But I think McDavid has done more with less on his team. Like, his team has not been great in many different regards this year. If you look at the difference between him and number 2 on their team in scoring, I think it's like 30 points.
Well, it's
because Draisaitl hasn't played.
Draisaitl's hurt.
But the point is, like, to Jeff's point, he's leading the league. He's the best player. He's, to me, like, the amount of times this year I'm just like, damn.
Well, but the damn
But even
factor for
but Hayes,
Kucherov
even if
and-
you look at the numbers, like it's not as like the disparity is not as crazy as you think in some of these other numbers.
Oh, I hear you. There's
the power play points. It's like we ding
he
him
is
on
a
that.
power
but
play
he's,
merchant.
but he's amazing on the power play. Everyone is not amazing on the power play. Anyway, that's my.
I hear you. Listen, I
That's what I
got you.
decide.
Like if I'm playing a devil's advocate on McDavid, it's that their team has been the worst of the other teams.
Yep. For a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with him.
Okay, but you're the leader, you're the captain,
Do you want him to play goal? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want him to do? Jeff's right. Like, he's the most points in the league. He's going to have 145 points.
Yeah, well, Kucherov could have 146.
Yeah.
So what is it? The Art Ross is that? But that's what I'm getting to, Jonas. Is like if we're talking about basically an icebreaker. How do you, like if we've got a tiebreaker here? What do you look at to differentiate the two? I think you look at McKinnon if he's got 50-plus goals.
Yeah.
He wins the Rocket. To me, most important thing to do in the sport is scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
He would have that. Maybe you look at it, which best player on the best team. Like, what does that factor into things? That would be maybe McKinnon. It would be Kucherov in the East.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
No, you're right. Like,
agree
it's hard. I'm not saying it's like it's easy, but Jeff is kind of right. Like, we kind of just, I think, take it for granted.
Well,
like,
and
one other
it's
little
not his
factor,
best season ever.
Yes,
which
and
is
one other little factor. Joe from the Bridge, for once, came up with a useful point. Said Draisaitl's been gone for a little bit, quite some time actually.
well, and Hyman missed time. And
and McCarr's out in Colorado, so we don't hold that against.
no, but like Colorado's
Hedman's been hurt basically all year.
See what this guy does, Jonas?
I use your
I know.
evidence against you.
He's a whatabouter.
Well, I mean, Hedman seems like a pretty important piece. The,
Yes.
the captain of the team. He's been out almost all
What
year.
he is a goon. He's a goon.
I'm just saying. Listen, I had a take that has a chance to be the greatest take of all time if McDavid doesn't
The
win the Hart.
Celebrini?
No,
Or
it's
the
not even
the
that.
Hart, the McDavid.
Yeah,
Hart.
I mean, because he's
he's never going to win another Hart.
Well, I didn't say it that definitively. I just said I'm not sure he's ever going to win another Hart again because of this. This was exactly the point. Is it may by a sliver be Kucherov or McKinnon? Then you run out of time. You get older, and the Celebrini's coming, man. Like there's other guys, like younger players that are en route. They're going to start owning the awards. Anyway, there you go.
Hayes, this is a little off topic, but I got to give a shout out to Longos. They had a buffet. They put together a buffet. They had a buffet today. It was gorgeous.
Okay.
And the
There you
GM
go.
over there and the president of that law, Matt, I had a bit of a problem. I addressed it with him, and he was understanding. So, Matt, you're the best.
I love it. What happened? You got caught using your hands and your fingers, your little grubby fingers in the buffet, and someone complained?
No. But you know what happened, Hayes? You're close. Because I told Matt, I'm like, dude, the glass, I can't get my wing underneath the glass to get the blueberries and stuff. I said, we got to tilt the glass
Tilt it.
so there's more of an opening. And
You're
the guy
a man
goes,
of the people.
He looked at me and he goes, you're right.
It's a great
So
place.
Longos on the Queensway, you guys are running a great operation.
I love it. The customer's always right, Jonas.
You imagine he calls the technician. He's like, Jeff O'Neill came in.
Yeah, this guy's complaining about blueberries or something. We just need to get him out of the store as
Dude,
quickly
the
as possible.
GM there runs a great program.
All
Matt,
right.
I love you,
I
pal.
love it. Shout out. Okay, best bets next.
NASCAR action here on TSN and TSN Plus.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm on Detroit tonight. The Red Wings get it done against Columbus. Must win tonight. I'm on Detroit, and I'm on Ottawa, paying a little bit of juice, but I'm taking both home teams tonight in the East.
They're playing Tampa?
They got Tampa.
Tampa just lost a big game.
Tampa's already they've clinched the playoff spot. I know they're fighting for the top spot, but I like Ottawa, man. I like the way they're playing. I like them on this homestand. I like Allmark's been better. I think Brady Tkachuk has a big game again tonight. I'm sticking with those two picks. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Same game parlays available for every NHL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. Not touching the Jays game tonight. Raptors Heat, massive must win for the Raps too. They got the Heat tonight and Thursday, both at home. You got to find a way to beat this team. You've got to. The Heat are right behind them. Huge, huge game. Couple of big, big games here in the city of Toronto tonight. All right, boys. Good seeing you, Jonas.
Thanks,
Thank
fellas.
You
You can
this.
come work for me at some point. Don't
All
worry.
right. Hire me, man.
Yeah.
Hire me. Bring me on board.
Okay.
I'll do anything.
Analytics president.
I can run that operation.
Scouting director.
Yeah. Smarter than you think. I got ideas.
Right.
I got plans. All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Jonas, I'd rather live behind McDonald's. 4 p.m.
Or Longo's. We'll chat that.